Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're here in Brampton for the 2011 Men's National Championship, and we're setting this up with the Midnight Express and the Montreal Black Knights. I'm Dan Rinaldi. I'm here with Elio Pascuzzo and George Gortzos, Team Canada Elite Performance Executive. We've got a bevy of dignitaries in the crowd today, fans, capacity. I mean, we're excited. George, what do you look for from these two teams today in this game?
Well, Dan, it's a big game, and everybody's excited. We're all really hyped up about the atmosphere here. Midnight has a high-octane offense, great forwards, and the Black Knights has shown that they have great emotion, forward checking, and both teams have great goalies.
The Express are 5-1-0 coming in here. They beat the Knights in the earlier round robin 5-3, and a 1-2 loss to the Calgary, the team out of Calgary. What are they going to have to do, George, to win this game today? The Express.
Well, the Express got to play to their skill. They have a high-octane offense, so they got to attack, move the ball up, and they're very good at spreading the floor and finding open shots in the slot. They got some highly skilled forwards.
Yeah, we're taking a look at them running out on the floor now, and they got a large contingent of fans here. The Knights, on the other hand, Elio, are 4-1-1. They took it on the chin 5-3 against the Express, but it was a good game. It was close for a long period of time. They tied the Falcons 1-1. What do you think? Did they got enough in the tank to in my estimation, pull the upset?
Absolutely, Dan. The Montreal Black Knights in that round-robin game took a 2-0 lead on the Express with hard, diligent forechecking. The Express defense is a part of their game that doesn't handle the ball as well as their offensive arsenal. The Express are an offensive team, got to keep it out of the hands of their forwards. Black Knights early in that round-robin game, forecheck diligently, 2-0 lead. Unfortunately, couldn't sustain, but they definitely have the pedigree and the background to win a national championship. That's what all teams aspire to back in March.
Yeah, and I think the hidden thing is team discipline. Can they stay out of the penalty box? Because the Midnight's power play is phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think what we're going to do throughout this game, gentlemen, is we're going to lend a variety of different commentary about the game, the sport, what's going on, and we're going to let the fans just watch the game, and we're not going to really inundate them with too much of the play-by-play. We're going to try and identify the key components, but this is going to be an interesting little thing as we take a look at ourselves up here in the booth. And I just want, if the cameraman can pan the crowd here and get us a look at all the fans that are out there. I mean, this is unbelievable. What a crowd we got here, the energy, George?
As a player, you got to get hyped up to play in these kind of atmospheres. It's absolutely phenomenal. Supercharged.
They're just announcing the officials right now. It's Darsh from BC and Ian from Newfoundland.
Darsh Grewal, the pride of New Westminster, BC, home of the Memorial Cup champion Bruins dynasty of the 70s. And Ian Hollett, St. John's, Newfoundland. Very strong officiating crew today.
George, who are the Black Knights starting out here against the number one line? Tavis and Martello and Justina, who have been lighting it up in the last couple of games.
They got Ainsley and Piccioni. They're going to be forechecking. They're going to get the ball deep, and they're going to go at them.
Yeah, I see a very quick game here, and right off the bat, the Montreal Black Knights dump it in and get a face-off deep into the Express zone. And David DiGeronimo, let's talk a little bit about him there, Elio.
Dave DiGeronimo, Team Canada World Championship goalie, won the national championship in 2009. He's been here before. 14th national championship final for the Brampton Express, a record of 6-7. For the Montreal Black Knights, they've been here before as well, 1-3 in all-time finals, most recently beating these Express in Vancouver in 2008.
It's going to be an interesting matchup. What else do you look for tonight, George, early in the contest?
I want to see what teams are emotionally into it and what players are ready to run hard.
As we take a look at the action here early, and teams are going back and forth here with a little ball control, looking for the early up. There's a shot there, number 14. That was Mateo Stoico taking that shot, just getting it in deep. You know the coaches really well. Did you have a chance to talk to them, George?
No, I didn't. But Black Knights have really started well in the first minute. This is about as good a start as their coach, Tony Iannito, would want to have.
Yeah, and I think that's important because traditionally the team that comes out first gets that initial momentum that's so critical, isn't it, Elio, in the first period of the game?
Yes, and Coach Iannito would be pleased to see some jump out of Daniele. He's had a slow start to the tournament, but as each game has progressed, has gotten his legs, and look for him to have a strong 40 minutes, and that first shift bodes well.
Yeah, in my estimation, if you get guys like Matt Tremblay and the group that have to play a little more defense rather than offense, that's where the Achilles tendon is on this Express club. Would you say, George?
Well, they got guys that know how to move the ball, but just like anything, you're playing a great team, you got to get them at the back, and you can't sit back. You got to go in forecheck.
Well, we got Paravano now with the ball behind the Express net. Early in this game, 18:40 left in the first period. Played 2 20-minute periods here, and it's a long game, isn't it? When you take a look at it, you sometimes teams with 2-3 goal leads, but you look up on the clock and there's 12 minutes, 17 minutes left in the period there. As the Express turn it back up the floor here.
This is Mike Head.
Early shot there against Kelly Gregg, and he's been solid throughout the tournament. We'll talk a little bit about him.
Kelly has come in. Great stand-up goalie, sure to the ball. Always in position to make not only that first save, but that second and ultimately third if necessary.
And there it is right there. She scores! Well, that's that line from Niagara there, that headline, and boy, can they play, but this was all hard work. And I think it was number 61, Eric Tardif, who finally put the biscuit in the basket behind Kelly there, and unfortunately couldn't find it between his pads, Elio, and
there was a little bit of a defensive breakdown, and this is what I talk about. You have to be so disciplined. They left them wide open on the give and go in the slot. And as a defender, you cannot let up against this Midnight team.
Yeah, there are a couple of guys got caught. Yeah, they got caught looking at the ball there, and Cardiff was Johnny on the spot. He just tapped that one in for an early 1-0 lead.
Dan, it'll be interesting to see how the Black Knights respond. They did fall behind in their semifinal encounter 3-1. And then scored a bevy of second-period goals. So they are a team that's here for the whole 40 minutes.
Here comes Tiny Wayne's going right in. A shot! Rebound! Oh, and another great save by DiGeronimo as James Corsi goes in, showing exceptional speed on the outside there, George. And that defenseman got caught flat-footed.
Yeah, I think he didn't make a decision, make a stop of him. But I see that David DiGeronimo is on his game. And if he's on his game, he can be a tough goalie to beat, and I've seen that when he's played for Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen some great goalies in our times, and you know what? Show me a good goalie, and I'll show you a great coach. And you know that the goalies tonight are going to have to be solid. David DiGeronimo looks like he's sharp early, Elio?
Yep, DiGeronimo looks like he's solid. Our fans, packed house. Our viewers should know a lot of history today. Brampton Express trying to equal Montreal Red Light national record of 7 national championships, and the Black Knights trying to join a number of teams winning multiple championships at this level.
We got a loose ball in front. We still continue. Oh, what a save by DiGeronimo. Wow, he flashed that pad, and I think he just stretched that muscle a little bit, and I think it was, again, another one right off the other way. Justini, and he's been on fire the last couple of games. And here's Pereira. Mateo Pereira. Oh, what a save.
Unbelievable ball hockey.
Goaltending at both ends of the rink, and 16:45 left, and we've already saw enough ball hockey here to keep the fans at the edge of their seats. Tavis, Justini, shot, score! Frankie Justini Jr. Wow, did that go in the net in a hurry, George? And again, you got defense that are backing up, and you can't let that guy shoot the ball because you just saw what happened.
Well, that's just a phenomenal shot, and players like that, you can't give them room, and that comes straight from God and his dad.
Yeah, and as I expected, a little timeout here by the Montreal Black Knights, and as much as they've had the forecheck early, Elio, you can't give this Express team any chance at all, any opening, especially with that number 1 line.
This is a good timeout, Dan. Exactly what Coach Iannito needed to do. There's still lots of hockey left. 36 and a half minutes. in a national championship game is a long time. Call the timeout, calm the troops down, had a few scoring chances. Let us not forget, George, DiGeronimo, just before that goal, had to make a miraculous save.
At least two huge saves, and this could easily be 2-0 the other way.
The one thing Coach Iannido has to stress to his team is the next 4 or 5 minutes of this game, we have to get Uncle Mo back on our side. Get it, and then the second half of the first period can start.
And for those listening that aren't familiar with Uncle Mo, that's momentum. As we would say, but boy, and who they are countering right now, George, out there with this lineup?
They got Mr. LeBlanc out there, who's a phenomenal player, 87, very skilled, and led them to the victory against Midnight in Vancouver. So this is a line that they're going to expect some offense from, with Farinelli, the shooter, on the outside there.
And that was number 87, Silent Block here, just talking about. Nice shot. He's been a threat all tournament, George.
He's a great player.
And you know what? He handles the ball so well. He's all in control. And that's Lajeunesse, and he's going up to Chris Morrison Jr. Morrison Jr. along the boards. Good battle along the walls here in Lajeunesse. Forward, converted defenseman. Solid in thinking. Chicky Mentis in control. The Black Knights now are content in playing this 1-2-2 little man-to-man coverage down low. What do you think about that, George?
I'd like to see them press more, but they've played you know what? They've had a good game. It's not a 2-0 game right now. It really isn't. It's been a pretty even game.
Yeah, and you know what? You can't take anything away from that shot from Giustini. I mean, we were talking about it earlier where his father came in sitting at the front there before the game, and you know that he was a prolific goal scorer in his own right, Elio, and his son is a chip off the old block.
Had a pleasure to play against his father, one of the best hands in the business. I called him the Guy Lafleur of ball hockey back in the day.
I think that was when we were talking about you were allowed to smoke on the bench while you were playing.
Yeah, great era, the 80s. And
not that we're promoting that today, because obviously not the way to go. We got a lot more speed, skill, and intensity out there as we see the Midnight Express control the ball early. Here's a turnover. 72, Andrew Courtney. We know him well in the national circles and in the world level. And here come the Express, thwarted at the blue line. Ball is dumped in. It looks like we're going to get our first icing call of the game. We get a bit of a break here, an opportunity to take a look at the game overall. 15:02.
One thing I've noticed, Dan, is that the players' discipline level is at the right level. The players are playing hard. Nobody's looking to take a bad penalty, and they're working really hard. So the game is in a good place right now as far as pure ball.
Well, you know, all that physical and messages, that's what teams are trying to send. That happens early in the tournament. But when you get to this level here, everybody's here to play because that gold medal's on the line. There we go, number 5, Robbie Piccioni, the corner, centers it right out in front. And there's Mike Porter. He just takes the turn, loses it, comes back in, and there's Piccioni going back in it again. Tough battle. Number 70, Dan Rocha. Look at that, right against the boards. And number 88 settles it down. That's Chris Creador. Over to Rocha. And here you go. You get to see that relaxed forecheck, George. I don't know. I'm not too keen about that. I thought the Black Knights were going to come a little harder. Here we go. Number 22. Johnny Lulick. Mike Stiziani comes in. DiGeronimo, who plays the ball very well, gets it outside. And there's Paulo Musto's got a backline position today in this game, George. Tony looks like he needs some veteran leadership back there just to move the ball. And who better than Paulo Musto? Oh, a little offside. As Mike Stiziani was just a little step ahead, but what a nice pass there by Musto. Elio, what are your comments so far this game? It's 2-0, but like we said before, it could go the other way. But
exactly the start that Coach Griffiths and the Express wanted, being at home, hosting this national championship, getting off to the 2-0 lead. Black Knights, like George said, still in this hockey game. Next goal is paramount, though. You do not want to fall 3 goals behind against this vaunted Express attack.
What do you always say, George? Next goal's
a big one.
Next goal's a big one, and it is. It's huge, especially at this stage in the game. And there's Pereira. He's going to settle things down and carry it up. Good ball moving defensive. Martello. Pereira. Shot. Blocked. Giustini score! And just like that, We talk about the importance of that third goal, and what a little tic-tac-toe, and
one thing you can't take away from Little Pereira, he's got great offensive vision. He's not a natural defenseman, but he's a great ball handler.
No, he's not, but you know what? He's one of those guys that just gives the ball when he has to, and he gave it to the right guy. Giustini, Martello, back to Pereira, Pereira to Giustini, and Giustini does what he does best.
Frankie Giustini is well on his way to being the preeminent ball hockey player in this nation. Quarterfinal, big goals against Newfoundland. Semifinal, big goals against Montreal Red Light, and 2 tonight.
But George, what do you think that a team, given the success that this line has had, would kind of match them up with a stronger defensive pair out there? What do you think?
Well, you have to watch your matchups at this level, and you know what? You can't let players like that loose. But they got caught a little bit 3-on-2 down low. So I don't think their first forward back is making a good decision to help the D.
Well, they're picking up on the forecheck here as the Mark Paravano goes behind the net to his partner, Chicky Mentis. Chicky Mentis way up here, and that's Matt Tremblay. Tremblay can do it all. And Chris Morrison Jr. asking for it, but Tremblay fires. And Kelly makes the save. And so far, the last 5 minutes have been express.
Yeah, and I think that's comes part and parcel with what you're saying. I think the Black Knights have taken the pedal off the metal on the forecheck, and you cannot allow this team to get going offensively.
Elio, they look a little nervous. They look tight now. They, like maybe after that timeout, you'd figure they'd settle down, but
they're really hesitant, like George said, on their forecheck. They got to maintain the same principles the first 5 minutes of this hockey game. They can score. They proved it against Ottawa in the semifinals, potting 8. So they can score. They just have to maintain the same game plan. No, there's a lot of hockey. There's ball hockey leagues in this nation that have 2 15-minute periods. We have more than a game left.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw Andrew Courtney going in on his own, makes the shot. Probably didn't get as much good wood on that as one. But you know what? What I noticed is they're not following up with any offensive threat. There's a beautiful Toronto shot. And boy, DiGeronimo, another big save. That's 4, George.
Yeah, I mean, they could have a goal or two, but David's on his game. They're going to have to break down that door.
They're going to have to find a way, get somebody in front of him, because right now, if he sees it, he's going to stop it.
There's their opportunity, Dan.
And I think that's number 97, Chris Sequeira, who's going to get the gate there for a boarding call. Oh, we got a hook and a... Oh, okay, so he's just calling a hook on that. He kind of went in the boards, but like you said, get a first opportunity to take a look at either power play.
This could be the biggest power play of the Black Knights season right now.
Well, 12:35 left. They're definitely going to have to get one here. What's their power play look like throughout the tournament, Elio?
Power play's been efficient. As the Black Knights, as the tournaments progress, have been getting better and better in all facets of the game. Defensive zone coverage, although you might not know it by the first couple of midnight goals, but their game has been gradually improving. Ianito's probably surprised that they're down 3-0, but like I said, they potted 8-7 in the second period last night against a great Ottawa team, the bronze medalists of 2011, so they need to just keep on playing.
The Express win the draw, critical draw, and they dump it down, and but most teams are going to fear what this Express team too, George. They like to attack when they're down one guy.
Right. Well, I think they should keep their mind on defending because they're in a good position.
And here's the Knights getting it in, and there's a nice little dump there. And a clear. They're standing up four along the blue line here. And
Dan, they might want to surprise DiGeronimo with a nice slap shot. Get D'Amico going hard on the net. Try to get possession because they need to outrun these guys right now.
Well, Mike Stizziani's going in there in the corner. He's got a little bit of support there. Great battles down low, but we got 2 Black Knights versus the 1 shirt, and that's not maybe not enough there to ball retrieval. There they go, they're setting up now. We got a little diamond here. Shot, rebound, save, DiGeronimo. They're creating a little traffic out in front as the ball is shot up into the rafters. Nice little setup there, George, and they finally got a good shot with a little bit of traffic out in front, but boy, DiGeronimo kicks out that pad and keeps the score at 2-zip or 3-zip.
We see Simon LeBlanc again. He's the offensive mastermind of this team, but again, they haven't been able to beat David, and they got to get somebody in front of the net. And I think you see Big 88 Ainsley, the enemy, out there, and I think that's going to be the job right now.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to park himself out in front of DiGeronimo, and I think Coach Iannino knows that because every shot so far he's seen, and here's that's 28, Massimo Alfieri. Shot, rebound, it's right through, but the big man couldn't find the ball behind DiGeronimo. Out at a great opportunity for him, a little tap-in.
I mean, this isn't a 3-0 game. There's been so many chances.
For those of you just joining us late, we're at the... What's this facility there, Elio?
Brampton Century Garden.
Century Garden. What a beautiful facility they chose for this event, didn't they?
Yeah, well, there's
CBHA's done a good job of picking, or the Ontario Association hosting. We gotta thank Dominic DiGeronimo and Mauro Cugini, Joseph Ferretti, our man at the door. Who's the security at the door?
Frank Zampini, bronze medalist 2007 Von Jets. Let's not forget about the people behind the scenes, guys like Pat Ventulo.
Pat Ventulo's on camera today. Doing a great job, Pat. And of course, I'm with Elio Pascuzzo and Hall of Famer George Gortzos. High performance CBHA executive. Jeez, that's a lot to say, George.
Too much, maybe, Dan.
And I noticed a couple of the young ladies and stuff in the crowd always looking up here. I know they're not looking at you and I, Elio.
Wow, George Gortzos.
There's a shot! It's a goal! Oh, and that could be the faux pas that turns this game around. As DiGeronimo tried to clear the ball on his own, may have chosen to maybe dump that thing in the corner, but I think it was Andrew Courtney who he just go to the net and see what happens, and it hit him and went in behind a gaping wide open cage, and we got a 3-1 score.
As we were speaking about before, we just got to get some dump-ins and go hard to the net. You don't know what that ball's going to do, and it doesn't have to be pretty, guys. It just has to clock one on that scoreboard. Doesn't matter how you get it, but hard work will get you your first, and then skill and determination could get you a few more.
Well, that's going to
30 minutes left.
30 minutes left, and that's going to pick up the spirits of the Black Knights here as they now go back on attack. Joey Cascuno in there, number 8.
Scoring chances are probably even at 6.
And Tony came back with his 4th line. Carollo, I haven't seen these guys come out there yet, but you know what? Everybody looks like they're standing now, and the demeanor on the bench has changed a bit. And talk a little bit about that, George, the importance of that shift in momentum, that confidence, a team like them. They're a young team, let's face it.
And they're an emotional team, so we saw that yesterday. Once they got going, the emotion just drove them forward, and we'll see if it happens again today.
Paulo Musso at the back, settling things down. He controls it. Nice little shot. A little bit higher than he wanted it, but nonetheless gets a face-off. And I think, Elio, what this team has to do is play the game a little bit more in the express zone, keep sending balls to the net and see what happens.
Exactly what Musto did there. Get it to the net. Your pluggers will go there, maybe get some more garbage. Like George mentioned, 30 minutes of hockey still to play. National championship gold medal. We have lots of hockey still to be played. The only one thing you want to be wary of, you don't want to get caught with a Midnight Express counterattack.
LeBlanc on the draw, great win. Oh, and there's a block shot there, and Chris Morrison, one-on-one here. It's always a great matchup to watch him dangle, shake and bake. There is Morrison. Trombley, Morrison. Shot, score!
Counterattack will kill you.
But Georgie, you can't play 3-on-2 with those guys.
No.
I mean, that looked like a drill in ice hockey where it's a breakout, regroup, come down, come on.
That started down here at the blue line where we had a defenseman making a bad decision and we got caught, and there you go.
Shot it in the pads, and you know what? The shooting lane wasn't there. He should have put that thing in the corner maybe. And they're making those little errors that a young team makes often, but in this particular case, they're paying for it.
Big time. They're paying for it. And it has to be disheartening to allow that goal, right?
Yeah, now they come back with the kid line here. We got Tardif 61 and 73. Mike Hedden. This line hasn't seen much of a. You haven't seen much of a. of time. But look at the depth that this Express team has. And they come back with a line like this that's maybe had one, possibly two shifts with 9:16 left in the period. As DiGeronimo freezes it, and you got to admire a guy like Andrew Courtney. He's trying to make things happen, going to the net. He's already got himself one goal, and he's trying to spur his troops on.
One thing to ask a team to come back from a 3-goal deficit once of Midnight's caliber. Twice, maybe a little too much. But they need the next goal, George. That's the bottom line is they still have to maintain their principles. They still have 9 minutes left in the first. Let's try to get it to within a 2-goal margin. You know, you go into the intermission, you regroup, but there's still a lot of hockey, and Tony Iannito has to reinforce this among his troops. Maybe go back to the Rinaldi 2-for-1 shifts. Get your team some momentum. Get Midnight thinking a bit.
There's a shot from the point. Oh, and a high stick. Oh, that's a reaction, and that's unfortunate because in this sport, any ball hit over the shoulder is a 2-minute minor.
And right now, if you're thinking about Midnight, they've had these kind of leads in national championships before, and they need to put the pedal to the metal and hammer this one home right here because you don't want to leave your opponent lying around. And right now is the time where they can make it easy on themselves and take this game over.
Yeah, and you know what, George? Here's a question: Do the Knights have that kind of personnel where breakaway guys like a Giustini, etc., that in a spur of a moment can actually bury one, maybe 2 goals and put this game back on even strands?
They did yesterday.
They did yesterday. So a win is there for Midnight to take. They got to go and get it right now.
Well, this is a big penalty kill for the Black Knights, and we'll take a look at the kid line out there. Tremblay's on the point. He sends one through, and easy save there for Kelly, and they're going to get a face-off.
You got to wonder how great Kelly feels. Like, I mean, he's made some great saves, and the goals he's allowed have been wonderful shots.
Well, we talked about him yesterday. We were watching him, George, and for a big man, he's very agile and shows a lot of a huge skill set. We see a lot of large goalies, and sometimes ice hockey's a little different than ball hockey, but this guy moves very, very well.
Crucial point in this game, Dan. Black Knights have to kill this PP.
Oh, and that almost snuck in there as Morrison, on many occasions throughout this tournament, has tried that little backdoor jam, but Kelly puts the pad down, and we saw the orange kind of sneak in and sneak out, but the Big E from the Rock was right there on the goal line making that call. Tremblay and Hedden. That's 73 Hedden on this side. Shot. Score! Montreal. And, it's tough to defend against a team that has so much offensive upside. I mean, these guys feed off of the offensive opportunities that they get, and it looks like there might be a goaltending change coming, or Kelly's coming towards the bench, and might be the break that he needs. Maybe a little strategy there. 8:17 left in the period, George, and we got a 5-1 game here. I mean,
well, there's still 23 minutes. I think you got to break it down into 5-minute quadrants and try and win those. I mean, you win 4 or 5-minute quadrants, you're back in the game. But there's so much artillery on the other side.
It has to be distressing, though, George. Falling behind 5-1, and you look at the Midnight bench, and Giustini and Martello hop over the boards to come on.
Well,
and you've just fallen behind 5-1.
Well,
this
5-1,
is a tall order.
And after the first 5-7 minutes, they really haven't seen a shift because they were doing a penalty kill. And those guys aren't going to penalty kill, right?
At some point in time, they got to play better defense. And although that was a power play goal, they have to really sell themselves out to block shots now. They have to do every little thing, like George says, win in quadrants, but they have to sell themselves out every shift because this could get out of hand in a hurry.
Well, here's Pereira. He puts it outside. And there's Joey D'Amico. He comes right in. Nice little play on the right side. Shot. Rebound. Oh, comes out the other side. DiGeronimo forced to fumble, and make it. And Tabbas comes back in a defensive role here. Sets it up. Martello. He's with Giustini. Watch these guys go. Martello. Shot. Blocked at the D. D'Amico controls up the boards. Oh, Lajeunesse can't turn it over there. Giustini, Martello, Giustini. They settle it down. Ball's lost there. Here comes forward against the defenseman. Pereira comes back, seals the boards, moves it back. Shot from the point. That's wide. That was number 55, Jason Pun. Martello's still out there. Long shift for these guys. And this is where I think George, the team's got to take advantage of that. Like you said, Elio, the 2 to every 1 shift that they're making, because the Express has a tendency to stay out there for long periods of time.
Definitely. And we should say Montreal's also changed goalie. J.F. Omey is in the nets.
And he was forced into a couple saves right now, but he got himself in the game right away as Black Knights come in. That's number 68, comes right over, shot. That's Biagio, Daniel Biagio, and here comes the 3-on-2 again. Back it up. Oh, and a little bit too far, out front. Daniel Biagio. Johnny Lulick. Here comes the big man out in front. Ball's on the outside, but nothing really dangerous. And the Express dump it out just outside the zone as they have to. The Black Knights have to retreat a bit. Here they come again. Nice little move around the outside. That's number 14, Mateo Stoico. He's coming in. Take a look for an opportunity right out in front. Oh, loose ball, but Chicky Mentis picks it up and moves it up the boards. That's Tardif, 61.
That's a good change.
And that's a great change. You dump it right in and they go to the bench. And they're only out there for 30, maybe 40 seconds as Paulo Musto comes up trying to make something happen. He's wheeling and dealing. Taking a look. Far side. Number 5, Robert Piccioni, tried to make one through, but again hits a shin pad. And here come the Express the other way. And there's veteran Robbie Mentis, number 27, who scored a big goal yesterday in that semifinal game to spark or ignite the Express attack. Elio, it seems like whatever they're doing, it's just not working. They're trying, but they're just not getting any balls to the net.
But glass half full. Last 3 minutes has been good for the Black Knights. They've got a little bit of offense going. I may be in the minority, but this game ain't over. To borrow a phrase from Yogi Berra, it's never over till it's over. And they just got to keep playing. Maybe get one before the intermission and see what happens. But 3-goal leads in a 20-minute period are nothing.
Exactly. And shot. Oh, and that sails over top of the net. And Montero has it. Outlet. Musto working hard. Great battle against the boards there. There's 97, comes right in alone. Musto's doing it all there. Defense, offense. Great non-call there by the official. '91, James Corsi trying to win a battle. Gets Dan Rocha, who wins it. Comes down low. Here's a shot.
I think it's important that the Black Knights get at least one back before this period's over if they can.
Oh, absolutely. 3:52, George. Wouldn't you be happy if they get one and then go in the dressing room just down 3?
Yeah.
Morrison Jr. and he goes to Rocha. They're in control. Up the boards. That's Giustini. Great turn off the wall. Giustini trying to make something happen at the blue line. Puts himself offside. Black Knights back on attack. 3-on-2. Here we go. Number 8. Joey Cascuno. Gotta shoot that ball or move it like you guys were saying right there. Maybe they're trying too hard, Elio?
Well, like an old vet used to tell me, the great Al Tamburini, if you don't have a thought in your mind, just shoot that ball.
Well, talking about shooting, here comes Tremblay again. Oh, nice defensive play along the boards by the Black Knight defender there, who's stepping up, playing some tight D, but
Giustini has that in his repertoire.
Yeah, absolutely, and he can fire and score from anywhere, but there's Tavis.
And again,
the veteran.
You see they're leaving him open in
Yeah.
the slot. There's just lacks deep defense. And you know,
Johnny Lulick, he took a step back instead of a step forward, George. You got to get in his face, but are they tired?
no, I think they're just not paying attention to the little details. And I think a lot of the problems start in the neutral zone for them because they've made some bad decisions. Midnight's not known as a primetime defensive team, but they've blocked a lot of shots and passes, and that's been the start of their offense.
Well, George, we played against them for many years, and the greatest, our greatest defense was an offense against them. You got to force them on their heels, and right now it's the Black Knights that are backing up on their end of the blue line. But here they come over the line. Nice pass there, just failed to negotiate. Mike Malarchuk, and there's a shot. And wow, and they're not happy about that call because Ian Paulette from Newfoundland, the back judge, came way out of his, as they would say, jurisdiction to make that call, Elio. And that's not going to sit well with the Black Knights. What do you think?
Well, if you want to measure someone's scheming, look at Coach Iannito on the Black Knights bench. He is just perturbed.
Well, now, and we got
a little discussion there between the officials as the game winds down in the first period here, 2:28.
We're again at a key point with 2 minutes. Black Knights now got to kill this off, and I think they got to look at perhaps going out of character and hopefully killing it off and pushing their D up in the second period and being a little bit more aggressive.
Well, I think they've been tentative. They got some young guys out there, Elio, that really are a little inexperienced. Some of them their first nationals. They probably heard a lot of stories about the Express and their offensive, but they don't want to make mistakes. So what's the best thing to do? Back up, right?
I agree with the Hall of Famer George Gortzos. You got to tell Midnight, we're going to give you what you don't expect. They always get traps. They always get respect. But if you go at them hard, go at their D hard, it's something they're not accustomed to seeing day in and day out. And that's how you go at a great team.
And we've just seen that now in this little penalty killing.
Mateo Stoico, look at him, Mateo. And that's just an advantage play. Like the traveling in basketball, you can't
make a hockey move.
Can't make a hockey move while you're redirecting the ball there. So good call by Darsh Grewal. Officials kind of taking the officiating right out of this game at 5-1. But like you said, there's still 20 minutes and such to go. So every goal's a big one. The key is that the Express don't get the next one.
Well, if the Express do get the next goal, you might want to lock in the 18th National Championship for Ontario because out of the 33 played to date, Ontario and Quebec, the two most dominating provinces, but they have to kill the remaining 114 off this power play. The Black Knights have a chance.
Veteran Nelson Lajeunesse anchoring this power play. Takes the shot. Low, wide. Express control. That's Lajeunesse. Giustini, shot. Just missed. Tavis. Martello. Robbie Mentis in front of the net. He's parked. Looking to create some traffic. Shot. And that's going way over. Martello probably wants that one back. Hurried it, but ball's coming outside.
Nearby Iverwin Stadium, host of that Argos Ticats rivalry. That's 3 points if it's happening tonight. But here,
just inside the bar.
But here, it's outside the blue line. Face off.
Well, 1 minute and 9 seconds left in the period, and as we see Frankie Giustini's father, you're making a comment about him coming upstairs. He must be really happy and really proud of his kid and what he's done in the sport, knowing where he came from. And the game was a lot different back then, but chip off the old block. Well, we got just over a minute left in the period here, and we'll have a little chance at halftime to talk about. So maybe you gentlemen can get your thoughts together and come up with a game plan for the Black Knights. And George, I'm going to ask you, maybe give you a chance to think about what, as a coach, what do you go in the room and talk about? What do you say when you're down 5-1 in the national final? I mean, I've never been there.
I'm not used to that.
I've never been there, so
I'm not used to that.
That's why I want to give you some time to think about it. Here's a pass across, and that's Tremblay. Wow, they got an offensive juggernaut on this, and there's Montero taking his wide-angle shot. little optimistic
They got the
that
kill,
far
though.
wide, but Morrison Jr., he'll flip it. Looking for a little cute play, and that ball's going all the way down the floor. It's an icing, and they'll get the call. 13.7 seconds left, and good penalty kill there by the Black Knights.
Well, Dan, you know, I said I haven't been there before, but now that I think of it, I was there as a young player when we were playing against Newfoundland. We should mention the Newfoundland Best Western Travelers. And you know what? I was a young player. I didn't know how to harness what I needed to harness, and that was to work even harder. So I think that's one of the things that the Black Knights got to do. They're young guys and they're veterans. Got to work harder.
Is it safe to say you got to get rid of the X's and O's right now? Now they're just going to have to dig a little bit deeper and find the heart. You know, a little hard work, whatever it's going to take to get one of their orange balls in the behind DiGeronimo and bring this game within some respectability.
The reality is, since O'May came in the net, it's a 0-0 game. So you got to build on that. Every little bit, every little win, Dan. You know, like, you're not going to get the two gentlemen standing to my left in your lineup if you're the Black Knights. They're in the broadcast booth right now. So, having said that, you got to do it with what you have.
Well, gentlemen, after one period of play,
we're on camera now, Dan.
after one period of play, it's the Midnight Express, Brampton at home, leading 5-1 against the Montreal Black Knights, and not the type of game that we expected. And in terms of the score, we thought it was going to be a little bit tighter. I didn't foresee this at all. I looked for a really tight checking, good game between two very, very talented squads, but it's one's offense that have really dominated the other's defense.
Well, the script is running according to plan. The quarterfinals, semifinal for the Express, they jump on Newfoundland early. They jump on Red Light early. They jump on Black Knights early. Everything is going exactly the way Midnight Express has been playing the playoff round. For the Black Knights, you could say the same. They fell behind to Ottawa. Only it wasn't a 4-goal deficit, and it wasn't to the Express. However, they've been here before, but at the end of the day, it's a 20-minute second period. You leave everything on the floor. There's a lot for Ionito to talk about, but the game ain't over, because if you break it into 4 or 5 minute quadrants and win each one, you're in overtime.
Well, George, on the other hand, 1994, we were in Newfoundland with the Rangers. We played against the Midnight Express, a very similar type team, offensively talented, take it to the net, traditionally a quick starting team. We got the quick start on them. We were in the room the other way, and if the cameraman can pan over and take a look at the Express bench for a minute there, look at how relaxed Terry Griffith is and company there, Steve Masters and his crew. I mean, that's a team that's really not worried about the way his team is playing right now. He's got him exactly where he wants him, 5-1, and I mean that's a great situation to be in. But what does he say?
Well, what is he saying? As a coach, he's thrilled with how his players have been, doing what they do best, and I guess that's what a coach does. He's got 3 high-octane offensive lines, and you know what? When I think back to '94, they had the same thing. And the biggest thing is you have to take care of little details and make sure that you know where your men are in the offensive zone. And actually, defense starts from the defensive blue line, making sure you're not caught flat-footed, making sure you get the ball through. And when I look at this game, I think that's where the Black Knights, even though they have possibly just as many scoring chances, have dropped behind.
Yeah, listen, we were there, and you know what? As much as you have that 5-1 lead, as a coach, as a player, I was never confident because you still got 20 minutes to go. And I remember saying to the boys, the first 5 minutes is critical in this game, but now the next 5 minutes of this next period are also critical. So the Black Knights obviously going to have to come out like the Express did in the second period and maybe grab one, possibly two, and change the nature of this contest.
Well, from the Express point of view, they have to maintain the fact that it's still a 0-0 hockey game, and that hunger has to be there, just like the start of the game. They can't let up. If anything we learned from the semifinal game with the Black Knights, they potted 7 against a very good Ottawa Capital team in one period of hockey. They were down at the intermission, so they can score. If you're the Black Knights, you have to go out of the dressing room and you have to say to yourselves, you know what? We've been dreaming about playing in the gold medal game since training camp. This is what we're here. Has the first period gone our way? No. But you can't do anything about the last shift, but you can sure do something about the next shift. And each one of them, to a man, has to leave it on the floor. They may not win this game, but they win their second period. They got a chance to force overtime. Might win it by 1 goal, not enough. But if they win the second, they got a chance. They don't win the second period, obviously they're going home silver medalists. But that's the kind of mindset they have to come out of the dressing room.
And from the Black Knights perspective, as Elio says, I think they fundamentally have to make a commitment to change a bit of the way they're playing. I think they may have to go a little bit out of character. It's not in their character to push their D on the strong side. It's not in their character to continually play a forecheck game. But at this particular point, they have to throw all caution to the wind.
Yeah, I think they got to bring those defense down low and pitch along the boards, and maybe have that third guy a little bit high, but read off of it and send not 2 but 3 guys in on a support, offensive support.
I agree, Dan. There's one thing that happens if you bring your defense down low. The offensive player has to come low too. And what Midnight's been doing is they've been spreading the floor, and maybe the Black Knights got to make the floor a little bit smaller.
Well,
balls
did
have
the
to go
Express
to the net.
on the other side of it? Did the Express come out and play a little relaxed defense, 1-2-2? Did they take the pedal off the metal?
I would never go to a 1-2-2, but I was a little bit of an aggressive coach.
Yeah.
But some coaches may.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about the tournament itself. Let's get off this game for just a second here. I mean, as the teams file back out onto the floor here, how did you see the tournament this year? How was the competition?
Well, the 34th edition had quarterfinal matchups that, if you go back in time with the CBHA National Championships, were more evenly matched than any other before. Granted, Newfoundland didn't come out playing and lost a lopsided game to Brampton Express, but if you looked at all the 4 quarterfinal matchups, there was a lot of parity. Calgary could have easily gotten by Red Light. Manitoba could have been here, so there was parity.
And George, I think you were disappointed with the Newfoundland squad, were you not?
Well, I didn't see that game, but I personally went over there, and I have a lot of faith in the boys,
Absolutely.
and I think they're going to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I was thrilled about was Alberta and how well they played, and also we have to acknowledge that Saskatchewan came to this tournament for the first time since 1987 and made a good showing, and that's great for ball hockey.
Absolutely, no. Well, we're going to start the second period, and Elio, I'm going to pass it over to you. I'm going to give you the opportunity to call the game and have some fun with this. He's my working partner as usual, so take it away, sir.
Thanks, Dan Rinaldi. Glad to be alongside a total of 7 national championships by my side. The Black Knights need to get something going, George, and they need it soon.
Definitely. We'll see how they start right off the hop here, Elliot.
Pereira with a nice defensive play. Gets it up to Paul with a nice pass to Hauser. Hauser all alone. Omey again holding the Black Knights in, Dan.
What a save that was early.
Exactly what the Montreal Black Knights did not need coming out of the gate. 36 seconds in. Paul from Hauser, 6-1.
And number 55 there, Massimo Ferry said it all, Jason Plum said it all. He put his hands up and he almost said, well, what else do you want me to do? Because they got no support coming back, George.
Well, and also I think Johnny Lulick got caught inside and didn't even pay attention to the backside openness of the player that was there. And like I said, when you're playing Midnight, defense starts right from the back when they got the ball.
Well, the Black Knights' pride will now come into play as they fall behind by 5 goals to this juggernaut out of Brampton. The Midnight Express, Caravano with time. Stretch pass to Giustini. He's looking for a hat trick here. Musto, the veteran. Team Canada, world national champion, Paolo Musto. Elio Pascuzzo, alongside the architect of the original dynasty and possibly the greatest franchise in Canadian ball hockey history, the Fernview Rangers. George Gortzos, no stranger to this level, world champion, national champion. Glad to be alongside you. Century Gardens, the venue, the Express, putting on a clinic here as the Black Knights test DiGeronimo. Dan, although it's few and far between that you've been in this situation, down 6-1 with so much time left, how do you keep the troops motivated and keep them from being discouraged? Because let's call a spade a spade. It's going to be tough to put 6 by DiGeronimo.
This isn't a hill. This is a mountain. This is one of those things that almost as a coach you say is insurmountable. But like we talked about earlier, you got to break it up into little pieces. And right now, little battles. So you got to go down the bench and say, okay, this is what we want you to do next shift. you really got to whittle it down to one shift at a time. Let's get a shot in. Let's see if we can get one. Okay, and then build on that. You know, one of my favorite sayings, you got to get one to get two, you got to get two to get three. So let's not look at the big picture. And if you take a look at the clock, there's 18 minutes left.
Once again, we see Midnight shredding them, getting a 3-on-2 from their own end. And this has been played over and over again today.
That express counterattack. George Gortzos, the body language on the Black Knights bench. Would you say a defeated one? Would you say one that says, let's just get the next goal? What do you see the Knights bench?
I say one waiting for a little emotion. They're just probably very frustrated.
Great crowd here in Brampton, Ontario, hosting the 2011 edition of the National Championships, also hosted in 2004 and 1999, along with the Miracle of Mississauga, the 1989 National Championships, where Maple Precast stunned the ball hockey nation, winning their first and only national championship.
First time in the history of ball hockey where pads were measured not once but twice in the same shift.
There we go with the 3-on-2 again being caught.
As the Express think they have a goal from McFadden, but that's waved off, and all the confusion as referee Ian Hollett from the Rock, St. John's, Newfoundland, says no goal.
The goal judge in there as well, and he waved it off. There was no signal from him, so referee was Johnny on the spot. He was right there, saw it clearly. The goal judge verified his call, and the officials this week, I must say, have been nothing less but solid, you know. And we're going to talk about Bob Beattie and his tenure in this sport, what he's done at that level as the tech director, and the referee crew this week has been good. It was witnessed there. Good call, good positioning, Elio, and you know it's all about positioning when you're refereeing.
Great communication, and there's one of the stalwarts of Canadian officials, Darsh Grewal, the pride of New Westminster, British Columbia, making the call. And the Black Knights have an opening at the 3:03 mark with maybe a little plus there with the goal being disallowed and a power play ensuing. I've seen other things in this sport.
Yeah, I mean, they need something. And again, they need to score on the power play. This is their second. They didn't score on the first, and they need a goal bad.
Well, they're on that mountain right now, Elio, and they got the Sherpas saying, you got to keep walking. You got to keep trudging up there. We're going to get there. Okay, I know it's a battle. I know the odds are against us, but put your knapsack on and you know, take in some more water and get out there. So I think it's important for them to keep pushing.
Black Knights with the power play, courtesy of Eric Tardif's 2-minute holding penalty. Stinziani moves it over to Simon LeBlanc. LeBlanc, the diminutive one, surveys, settles it back to the point. Matteo Stoico. LeBlanc. LeBlanc. Cross floor pass.
They got to go down low.
They're looking for Farinelli, their shooter, but
yes. Maybe work a backdoor thing there because they're not paying attention to number 27, Joey D'Amico. Yeah, George, and he's asking for the ball, but he's not getting it.
LeBlanc again, the catalyst. Back door. Nice opportunity for Stinziani, but DiGeronimo with his maybe second or third fully stretched pad save of the encounter, and you can't do anything about that.
I mean, the fact that it's 6-1, this isn't a 6-1 game. That's the great.
But how do you beat a team where they're all offense? I mean, they can score goals, but then you got a goalie that when you get those great chances, that was not the great chance. It's the end. Hey, he one-timed that thing, George, and look what, and DiGeronimo comes right across, and that's about the fifth big save he's made.
Well, the only thing I can think of is the Edmonton Oilers. He's being like Grant Fuhr, and that's the way it is.
Well,
the only difference was Grant Fuhr used to get 5 or 6 up, but never give you number 7.
Right.
Those who hit the local Starbucks in Brampton with the Guardian tomorrow will have no idea of the saves DiGeronimo had to make. They'll just look at the score and think blowout, but he has come up with a few dandy ones early on and just recently on this Black Knights power play. La Jeunesse, the KG veteran, calm, consistent. That's why he's a multiple national champion. 10 seconds remaining in this power play that we can all agree that the Black Knights needed to score to have any opportunity whatsoever.
There's a good idea. Just send the ball to the net. Get whatever you can down low and send it to DiGeronimo. Look at this.
2-on-0. Tardif from Morrison. Iron. Morrison. Nifty. But maybe a little too fruitful with that opportunity as the Black Knights try to make something happen. As we surpass the 5-minute mark here, Century Gardens Arena, the 2011 National Championship gold medal game, alongside Dan Rinaldi, the first 3-time national champion in ball hockey Canada history, and George Gortzels. Need I say more? Double G, double 3. O'May with the save.
I hate to go back to it again. A neutral zone giveaway causes a 3-on-2, and this has been a story of the game. I should mention a great turn back there by Nelson Lajeunesse, who has worn the Canadian colors, being a great ambassador to the sport, and really made a great transition and become a great defenseman.
Yeah, not only that, but he traveled to Saskatoon last week, George. We were out there, and his kid played on the junior U15 team, and they won the title out there too. So not only has he got a men's, but he's also got his first coaching mat as a proud father. So good job on him, and the kids did a great job out there. Joseph Ferretti, who's the GM for that team. So a lot of good hockey players, not just old, but young in Ontario right now. Future really, really bodes well for this province.
Upwards of 60,000 ball hockey players play this sport. Here comes an opportunity. Farinelli, the move, the goal. 4-goal game, 14 minutes.
Well, he's their goal scorer. He's got to score, and he always has.
And George, I was just going to say that was a goal scorer's goal. He didn't panic at all. Listen, he didn't. He didn't play that like a guy that's down 5 goals and just wanted to shoot it to get it over with. Patience made a great move. Got DiGeronimo to make the little sprawl on that side, just jammed it in the side, and that's a big goal for the Knights.
I mean, if they can get another one in the next couple minutes, you never know.
13:47 remaining, second period. National championship game. The Canadian Ball Hockey Association proud to have you alongside us as Courtney with the nifty stick work to block that pass. Black Knights try to keep the pressure on. Pun to Courtney. Oh, could have used
anyone that
one.
deserves a goal, it's Courtney, because he has been working so hard in this game. Probably one of the better Black Knights.
McFadden, yeoman's work. Nice play by Johnny Lulich as Courtney just taps it ahead and gets off. Lajeunesse, the aforementioned stalwart. Herrera sends it in. O'May, a little bit of difficulty. He'll have to be careful with Hauser in there, and he'll freeze it. 6-2 hockey game, gentlemen. Still a lot of hockey to be played.
I was going to say, George, you can't really go to a short bench because it's late in the tournament. You got tired bodies, you got injuries. Despite the great work that the trainers have done, I'm going to mention Marta DeSantis on the one side, the Black Knights, and you got Harvey Bourlier, who, these guys have also, these ladies and guys have done some great job with Team Canada program, etc. But what do? You still got to run the 4 lines, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the one thing about our national championship, it is the hardest ball hockey championship on a ball hockey player to play. It's an endurance test. And right now, the players got to dig down deep to see what else they can get out of them.
Malinaric with a nice defensive play, but equally diligent is Paul as he's looking for a call, but won't get it. D'Amico. Strong back checking. George, the reality is, though, if to give yourself a chance, you got to be within 2 at the 5-minute mark. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would think so. So they really got to push the offense right now.
Herrera with speed. Just keeps on going. Off Hauser and Musto, the KG veteran. He's been here before. Black Knights looking for space, something towards the net. But the youngster from Penetang, Paul, dumps it in on a nice change.
That's a nice hockey move. You know what? That's a great play. He could line a little soft dump so his guy gets there same time as a D, and he goes to the bench for a nice little rest.
Black Knights back to the offense. LeBlanc. Cross floor. Intercepted by Morrison. Probably not the guy you want to give the ball up to if you're the Black Knights. O'May calmly sends it up. Alfieri. Massimo Alfieri. Farinelli, the second goal scorer for the Black Knights. And LeBlanc, this line's going to be asked upon to get them back to within 3 as Musto sends it in. Rebound. Oh, great opportunity for Farinelli. Just couldn't pull the trigger, and Martello sees an opening. Nice juke. Still going, Martello! And LeBlanc with the back check. That could be a little mini turning point in halfway through the second.
Here comes Midnight again.
Thing of beauty, Frank Giustini, like father, like son. Hat-trick goal, 5-goal lead.
Have you ever seen anybody do what he does so effortlessly, taking it from the forehand to the backhand, and you know what? He goes, I'm just going to put this underneath the bar, okay, where they keep the peanut butter and the saltines, because I really don't want to reach up there where they keep the nice wines. You know, when the good family come over, this guy is so smooth, he's unbelievable.
If I could give a warning to the Czech Republic right now, the 2-time world champs, you better get ready because there's some offensive gifted players coming, and Giustini is at the top of the mark.
Great chemistry, Frank Giustini and Matt Martello, affectionately known as Martini in the GTA world. This combination knows each other, and they can score, and they proved it this week. Black Knights, they won't give up. Shoot! Great save, DiGeronimo. Rebound, Malinaric.
Another good stop.
As DiGeronimo with a few great saves. Creador with patience, the Metro Orangeman product, will hold on to it. We approach the halfway mark. Century Gardens Arena, the venue, the 2011 National Championship gold medal game. Elio Pascuzzo alongside a couple of icons in the sport. The architect of the greatest dynasty to be assembled early on with great competition, the Fernview Rangers. First team to dominate the national scene for longer than 1,000 days. George Gortzos, also a 3-time national champion, topped off with a Top Gun national championship. We're here 9.5 minutes, and the Midnight Express are well on their way to equaling Montreal Red Light's 7 national championship record, George.
Well, it's hard to believe that these two teams played in Vancouver and the Black Knights kept Midnight to 1 goal, because right now Midnight is really having a lot of offensive opportunities.
Dan, if you look at the tournament as a whole in the playoff round, if someone were to tell you on Tuesday that the Brampton Express would defeat the defending gold medalists 8-0 in a quarterfinal game, then beat the 7-time national champion Montreal Red Light 6-2 in a semifinal, and be doing this to the 2008 national champions in their own right, the Montreal Black Knights, would you have believed it?
Well, you know what? I knew the Black Knights coming in here were a young team and inexperienced, etc. I think my biggest surprise was the Newfoundland game more than anything. Red Light, they're rebuilding as well. I had a chance to talk to Paul Roy, who's another, mainstay of the national program, a great winner, a champion in his own right. And you know what? We joke all the time, but I say, the Rangers, or that team there, the greatest team since the post-Ranger era. And they've put it all together too, but they got new guys. So, let's face it, this Express team has a lot of firepower. Look at the guys that they've picked up. It's not just the Express team. They've got guys from Niagara. They've picked up some fine players out of Penetang. Okay, and they've built a really, really strong contingent. So to me, they have what it takes to win this championship this way.
Great performance by the men in red and white as they seek their 7th national championship, enjoying a power play. Tremblant, Hedden, Morrison. Great combination there, George.
Morrison's played really well. He's made a lot of great plays. But, to go further with what Dan said, as a defenseman, you're playing against Midnight. Okay, you mark Giustini. You mark Giustini, you allow somebody else open. It really has to be a full team defense right from the back. And I think this is where the Black Knights have dropped the ball a little bit today.
Would you guys tend to agree, as we continue to watch Midnight Express handling the power play here, you guys agree that that curse loss by the Express in the provincial finals got them against the wall and maybe was sort of like a mini wake-up call and got them into the proper frame of mind? They came back to win those 2 games against the Thunder. Dan, you were there. Do you think that might have been a catalyst for this performance this week?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what happens with this team when they're not happy, they just change the entire structure and chemistry of the club. They bring guys in that they know are going to get them from point A to point B. Terry Griffiths is a no nonsense kind of guy, and there's guys that aren't playing tonight that are sitting in the stands that aren't dressed that got them here all year, and that's got to be a tough biscuit for some of those kids to swallow. But you know what? The important thing is that it is what it is. It's part of the game. It's allowed within the structure of the league, and they take full advantage of it. But George will concur on this. When you're at the top of your game and you got a team like that, you're going to attract all the talent. There's guys that are unhappy at certain teams. They're going to knock on his door and say, "Listen, can I play with you guys?" And they have the pick of the litter. So, I mean, that comes with success. So you got to give them that much, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit of the Midas Top Guns kind of formula, and they've worked it to their success, and they got a great collection of players. And Terry Griffith, you got to tip your hat off to him. It's not easy to coach so personalities and make them happy, and he's done it. And also, I tip my hat off to Terry. He's being inducted tonight into the CBHA Hall of Fame along with my ex-teammate Gus Carusis, and it's fantastic to see him come into the hall.
Exactly. Big night ahead for the CBHA as they induct 2 of the great ones, Terry Griffiths and Gus Carusis, and they're just winners, George.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I haven't seen Gus. Has he been around? Is he going to be in the building tonight? Or?
Yes, he is. The Magic Man is going to be in the building.
Less than 8 minutes remaining, probably the longest 500 seconds in Black Knight history as they know the end is near. As the Express, 2-man advantage here, look to pop another one. O'May can't see that one, but he does just in time as a lurking Matt Tremblay couldn't finish it in time. Guys, when you put this pending victory into perspective in terms of the annals, we go back a long way. First national championship, Tony Miniaci and his York Canadians backed it up with being the first time to win 2 in 1980. Of course, the first 3-time winners, I've mentioned it, the Fernview Rangers. The first 4-time winners were Midnight, 5-time Red Light. It goes on and on. But in terms of this championship, where does it rank amongst the great ones of the history of the 34 years of national championship play?
Well, I look at this tournament as a stepping stone for the CBHA because, like George was mentioning earlier, a lot of provinces have come to the table. Calgary, Saskatchewan. I think that Manitoba had a great tournament. Manitoba's an up-and-coming group of competitors, and at the same time, I look at the Black Knights, and you know what? They're young. I like the idea that Red Light is rebuilding. Paul Roy is bringing young guys into the fold. That's what I like to see. I don't like to see guys just come and go and then just kind of fade away. You know what I mean? So it's been a great tournament in that sense. In terms of competition, George, I'll leave that up to you. I mean, what's your comment on that?
I think I saw a lot of good teams. Just one got it going right at the end. Newfoundland has a great program. We'll see them back. Manitoba did a great job, as Dan said. When I think of Midnight, I can't think of a team that, when they win, has won so many lopsided scores. It seems to be a formula, and when you can get the juggernaut under control, that's the only time you can have a chance to beat them. And the juggernaut was not under control today, and they just rolled on to victory, even though there's 7 minutes left here, barring a miracle.
And the difference too, Georgie, is that over the years the game has changed with the institution of the new level of officiating or rules, like in ice hockey, right? So it's a little bit more speed and skill and all that. So what's happened is defense has kind of been out the door, really. These teams don't play very good defense. I don't see it like you used to. The scores, like you said, are a lot more lopsided. Like saw the other night, what was it? The semifinal was 6-5 in overtime. I mean, as a coach, I commit ball hockey suicide if that was my club.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be able to take that. Back and forth like that. Come on, 6 goals. We could win 4 games with 6 goals.
Well, there's a lot of results nowadays that you could be down 4 goals and you still think you got a crack at it. But back in the 70s and 80s, a 4-goal margin was insurmountable with some of the tough defensive teams.
Absolutely, without a doubt. The guys would just shut it down, and the physicality of it would just take over. But I think it's a more offensive game that we're seeing these days, and more entertaining for the fans, and it bodes well. I mean, I watched the minors divisions play, and George, you're out there. You watch these kids go there. Hey, there's a huge upside coming from there. There's a lot of great young talent coming through.
Well, yeah, the future of the game is bright, and it's an offensive game. But you know what? Defense shouldn't be forgotten, and really, in this game, defense is positioning, reading the play, and good footwork.
Well said. As we
saw Justini come back, intercept the pass down here in the neutral zone, and make the break up front. So, you're seeing it on all levels.
The total package. Brampton Express as we approach the 15-minute mark of the second period. 5 minutes remain. The Express firmly in control of evening their national championship gold medal record to 7-7 as they look.
That 5-minute mark to make the statement, but you know what? I think that it's safe to say right now you can knock it, block it, and put this one in your pocket, Elio. I don't think that the Ottawa Cobras from '93 with Skip Breton in the lineup would be able to come back from this kind of a deficit.
You see right there is a prime example of the backside defender not paying attention, watching the ball, and just fell asleep and allowed Justini to be wide open again. And you got to be a student of defense to make sure you're guarding your man.
As the Express are going to take a 2-minute penalty, maybe a 4, depending on the signal. It's 2 minutes for tripping with 4:13 remaining. The general has spoken. You can put this one to rest. It will take a miracle of colossal proportions for the Black Knights to have any opportunity.
If you're watching at home, you can take an opportunity to go to the fridge and grab something cold to drink and a little snack, and prepare yourself for the award ceremonies, which I'm sure we're gonna broadcast. We're gonna have more time to talk to George, yourself, Elio. I mean, it's been a great week. It's been a great tournament. We've had a lot of fun.
Before you do go get those refreshments, you might want to stick around and listen to a combined 8 national championship pedigree speaking, because I wanted to mention to you guys, I always look at this next decade in Canadian ball hockey, and I look back at the 80s, which I always have referred to, and George knows this as well as Dan, as a decade of parity where we had 4 different provinces share in national championship glory: BC, Manitoba, Newfoundland, and Ontario. And in Canada, we've been longing for that decade to come along that reminds us of the 80s, whereby multiple provinces can win this. And do you see that maybe possibly happening with the growth of Alberta, Saskatchewan, Newfoundland? Maybe this next decade we could see 4 or more provinces share in national glory.
Oh, that'd be great to see, and that's what we're trying to work for. And we go out to the provinces and try and help them get along. And hey, Newfoundland winning last year broke a 22-year reign of Ontario and Quebec, and was a real proud moment for us. Manitoba coming back and playing well. Alberta running a program. Nova Scotia, we're hoping, is coming back next year. So these are big moments for us.
Well, they got to, Georgie, they got to continue to build on it. They've got to keep adding, as many key pieces to the puzzle as possible. And you know what? Some of these centers have learned, as the fans here start getting into it now. They've learned what it takes to compete against the big boys, what it takes to win, and the amount of commitment. And right now, certain teams or certain provinces are a little bit more committed than others. But you know what? I agree with you, Elio. I think that in the next few years, you're going to see a lot of other provinces stepping up and maybe sipping a little bit of the bubbly out of that cup. I remember in '95 when we were upset by the BC Bulls out there at the banquet. Yeah, the Burnaby Bulls. The banquet, they presented us a nice little plaque, and I said, you know what? It's tough for the Rangers to go down. It's sad, but it's a great day for ball hockey because we had a new champion, and that was these Black Knights.
Exactly. The winner of the sport is always ball hockey, if that happens.
And that was their first claim to fame, and that kicked off their province. That really sparked a growth of ball hockey in Quebec. So everything happens for a reason, and that's why it's good. It's a good thing. You know, and that being said, George, I don't think it's a good thing for one team to win all the time or one province because it's not good for the game.
The growth of the game depends on parity. And that's what ball hockey could be seeing in this next decade. So far, in this decade, we've had two different provinces already.
George, this tournament saw that. A lot of parity. There was a lot of it.
There was good teams
There
there.
was no undefeated team.
No, there was not any undefeated team. And that,
When was the last time you saw that?
it's been a while. And the plus minus, it wasn't like where you see a team having like a plus 25 after the tournament. It was tight.
Well, that was one of the reasons why you saw Newfoundland and the Express having to play that quarterfinal game. I mean, those two were top-seeded teams, and look what happened. They had to play in the first round.
That was the finals of last year.
And what a final it was.
Yes, it was.
I mean, we were there, and it was unbelievable. So.
Less than 3 minutes remaining. The gold medal matchup firmly in the Express's control here as the Black Knights maybe try to capitalize on this last few remaining seconds of this power play. As a glove pass is called by the officials on the floor. Guys, as we look forward to 2012 and maybe dark horses next year that fans can look to as a team that might surprise, maybe on home soil, a team that this year was close to getting to the Final Four. George?
I think Alberta showed with young Matt Harvey and Scott Holman and led by Dampy Brar. I think they're the team that you're going to have to be looking at next year in Alberta as one of the teams to beat. They really came a long way, and you could argue that they should be in this game right now.
Oh, Calgary, absolutely. I had them as my early pick, George. I watched them play a couple times. I loved the goaltending, the defensive scheme that they had. And you know what? With a break here or there, I think they could have easily been one of the finalists. Absolutely.
As I watch right now, I'm looking at Paulo Musto, now in his 40s, played for every team Canada except one. I think that's an unbelievable record for a player.
One of the classiest acts in Canadian ball hockey for sure. A world champion, a national champion, Paulo Musto. Tough to swallow this loss, but he's been on both sides of that mountain. So he respects losing as much as he cherishes winning. Nice pass, though. He ain't giving up. Girola. Chris Girola with the wrist shot. DiGeronimo there. Black Knights trying to muster a little bit of offense.
You know, as much as Giussini has the trick and he's been the star of this offensive game, I tell you, you know what? I got to give it to DiGeronimo. I mean, I'm looking at DiGeronimo. I'm saying early in the game, to me, if it's not him, this game's going the other way. I mean, I don't care what people are going to look at the score, and I'm going to say that, you know, because I mean, I have a soft spot for goalies, obviously, because we had one of the greatest of all time, and he bailed us out many times, and I think you can't underestimate what that guy in that net has done today.
No, I think David was the MVP. I think you're looking at about 8 to 10 scoring chances, clear cut, that the Black Knights had. And he allows Midnight to play the way they do.
As we count down, the fans count down at Century Gardens Arena. Less than 40 seconds remaining. We talked about the historical implications of today's game as the Express look to equal Montreal Red Lights 7 national championships, as well as Black Knights would have liked to join a foray of teams with multiple.
We've only got 7? We're only 4 behind, George. Listen, we're going to put this team back together, and Elio, start looking for some players. Here we go.
10 seconds remaining. History will be made.
Congratulations to them, to Ontario, who not only did, but earlier won the women's championship as well. The ladies from Vanier beating the ladies from Oshawa. It was a complete Ontario sweep, and you can't take that away from a province that has done so well in this sport over so many years. So congratulations to them and also congratulations to the Black Knight. They had a great tournament.
As the Brampton Express defeat the Montreal Black Knights and become the first franchise in Canadian ball hockey history to acclaim the national championship in 3 separate decades, which is a feat in itself, George. It's a great feat, but it bodes well that a sweep for Ontario. They did lose the B and C championships to Quebec, so across Canada we do have parity still in 2011.
We do, and you got to tip your hat off to Midnight and some of the old guys like Robin Chicky Mintis and Nelson that have been there. And I mean, to play in 14 national championships, whether you've won 7 and lost 7, is an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah, let's not forget the journeymen like Jimmy Tavis. You know, and Tony Talevsky wasn't even in the lineup tonight. You know, he's played with them for so many years. So, you know, there's guys like that you've really got to tip your hat to because they just hung on and they enjoy playing the game. They love the sport. You know, and some people might say, oh, you know what, you've bit the biscuit too long. It's time for you to pack it in. But you know what? Ball hockey is truly a game that anybody can play, and you can play for as long as you want, and as long as you're in the shape that you want to be in to play it. And it's like anything else. So
exactly,
we see them shaking hands here, the customary pleasantries exchanged at the end of a game. And what do you put on the end of this one, George?
It was a dominating performance. I think David DiGeronimo gave them the footing to play the type of game that they needed. Because as an offensive player, if you know you got the goalie back there, you know you can put the pedal to the metal, and that's what happened here.
And I just saw number 88, Bien-Aime, who went down, and as he shook hands with DiGeronimo, bowed to him and give the old down. And you know what? It's true. They know the role that he played because he stoned them early.
Well, yeah, and they've seen him do that on a world level. So, you know, it was a great game for David, and I'd pick him as player of the game for me.
Oh, player of the game, and to me, the most valuable player, because if the goalie's on, despite the fact that the score was lopsided as it was, the Black Knight did not score that many goals, and the amount of opportunities that they had, he thwarted them. But let's not take anything away from Giustini Jr., who lit it up and made it look easy. That kid is such an offensive talent. It's scary. It's really scary.
Well, yeah, and I'm thinking back to some of the guys I had to watch as a defender, and that would be a challenge.
As the award presentations continue at Century Gardens Arena, President Dominic DiGeronimo from the Canadian Ball Hockey Association. As James Corsi to accept his award as player of the game for the Montreal Black Knights. The hat-trick scorer, Frankie Giustini, putting his mark on the national stage 2 years ago in Winnipeg. Backing it up now with a hat-trick in the gold medal game. That's the stuff legends are made of.
No doubt about it, Elio, and you know what? He's one of those guys that he disappears and then reappears, and oftentimes with the ball on his stick and then in a short move in the back of the net. So as Tremblay's coming up and picking up the revamped Canadian trophy there, George. What? I got to say, what is that? And where's the old one? I mean, I can't help but. I'm an old. Hey, I'm a traditionalist, and you know what? I think that we've got to have that other one out there, and that one with a lot of history in it, with probably 1,000 names on it.
Well,
Elio,
yeah.
How many great teams are adorned on that particular cup? But
you know that original trophy, of course, retired after 2008, residing somewhere in a cul-de-sac in Chablaw. But the Express full value for their victory, and they get their names. Some of them already have their names on that trophy, and coming from someone who was fortunate enough to put his name on it in 1999, and you guys know all too well your experiences, they can never take that name off that trophy, and that's something you'll always cherish in this sport.
Oh, absolutely, and you know what? Once again, it's a tribute to the people that put this event together every year. We travel across Canada, and those of you that are watching this for the first time or haven't seen ball hockey live, get out to the rinks and catch some of the action. The Premier League, some heavy hockey, even outside of the province. I mean, we got so much good talent out there and skill, and it's truly a game that everybody's playing right now. So it was great. It was great working with you guys. A lot of fun.
Fantastic, and like Dan said, if you got young kids, get them involved in women's and men's programs, and it's a game that anybody could play. It's clean, it's safe, and we hope to see you in an arena soon.
As we take a look at the team picture, the tradition unlike any other in Canadian ball hockey, cementing your status as national champions, the Express, 7-time national champions, on behalf of the architect, Dan Rinaldi, of the three-time national champion, the first three-time national champion, Fernview Rangers. And on behalf of George Gortzos, the Hall of Famer, the world champion and four-time national champion, I'm Elio Pascuzzo, bidding you adieu from Century Gardens Arena. First team to win 3 national championships in 3 decades, the Brampton Express. They'll look for more in 2012, and we'll hope you'll be back with us. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Hey, there's a lot of fun. Hey, that was a lot of fun.